everybody. Welcome. Welcome. I'm Doug Bennett, the director of the New York Tech Alliance, and welcome to the New York Tech Meetup this evening. We have a great run of show, and before we get started, I have a few items to share with you. Okay. Please know that we record tonight's event, and we'll be posting the video within a few days on the NYTA YouTube channel. You can explore or you can subscribe to the channel and view this and past recordings by going to youtube.com/NYTechAlliance. You can also explore our videos on Geotag, which automatically indexes content so you can search and jump to the moments that matter most. Geotag makes this content far more accessible. Videos are fully transcribed and searchable, captions are built in, and the interface makes it easier to navigate and engage with the content at your own pace. Scan the QR code to see it in action, and say hello to Jeff Paul. Jeff, where are you? There you are. Jeff Paul, the founder of Geotag, at the table to my right. For anyone new here, the New York Tech Alliance is a nonprofit that connects the New York tech community throughout the 5 boroughs and globally. We're part of Civic Hall, and together we are part of FedCap, a nonprofit that dates back to 1935 when it was established to help people get employment. So fast forward, today we're a family of more than 40 companies operating across the US, Canada, the UK, and now Australia. We're focused on 4 core areas: workforce development, education, health, and economic mobility. Civic Hall occupies floors 1 through 7 of this building. It's about 85,000 square feet. And there's 3 things that we do here. We're a digital skills training center to help people get jobs in the tech industry. We have an event center on floors 2 and 3. And we have membership for both individuals and organizations. So the infographic on the screen behind me reflects the diversity of our community and in our reach out in New York and globally. So to learn more about us, visit nytech.org. Okay. Tonight, Civic Hall is providing a free trial membership to everyone attending this evening. If you'd like to give it a try and see if this might be a good place to work from and be part of the community, scan the QR code and submit your info. We'd love to welcome you. All right. Thanks to our annual sponsors who help make events like this one possible. With us tonight is the team from Ellis Law Group. Hello, Camille. And as mentioned earlier, Team Geotag. Jeff Paul is over to my right. Okay. So how many of you here are attending for the first time? Okay, wow. Okay, amazing. Beautiful. So for all of you joining us for the first time, our meetups are all about the tech and the market opportunities each company is addressing, not about the business or revenue models, okay? Those conversations can be had during networking time or elsewhere. So during the Q&A, please keep your questions to the tech and the problem or opportunity it's addressing. If not, you're likely to get booed, okay? All right.
There's no hook, though.
No hook. Tonight, each company will have up to 4 minutes to demo, up to 4 minutes of Q&A, and a moment to pose and ask offer. Given tonight's tight schedule, we have a countdown clock to help everyone stay on course. If anyone goes beyond the time limit, they will be kindly prompted to wrap up and allow all of you to ask your cues. Okay. Let's see. So tonight, we have a special meetup edition focused on accessibility tech, as you know. We've connected with some wonderful friends and partners and welcome new ones in the accessibility tech community. Tonight showcases the work we continue to do to spotlight the amazing people and some of the many tech products being developed in the sector, and also to heighten awareness of exciting new areas in the workforce development arena. I'd now like to welcome Jean Horn, founder and executive director of Give Beauty Wings. Jean is also chair of the board chair here at Civic Hall and the New York Tech Alliance, and someone who is very near and dear to me.
Aww.
Hey, Jean, come on up.
Thank you.
It's a good commute. Hello, everybody. My name is Inigo Montoya. Just kidding. I'm Sean or Shion Horn, and as Doug so kindly introduced, I'm so proud to be the chair of the New York Tech Alliance in Civic Hall. They make it easy. They're true allies in accessibility, and that's why I'm so thrilled every year to get to do this. Is this 3 or 4, Doug? 3. Oh, okay. I think it's more. But we'll have to do the math later. That's not my strong suit. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today is, I'm not a technologist. I'm the founder of Give Beauty Wings, which started as a self-esteem program. And I had no idea that my life would take all these twists and turns. But I did want to give you a little background as to why tech is so important to me, why employment is so important to me. And Abby Meyerhoff is here in the front. We'll be talking about that in just a little bit. But as I was doing these self-esteem programs, what I realized, and shout out to Queen, who's in the front, who was literally in my first ever self-esteem program. Sarah Basson is walking in, everybody, from Google, Queen of Everything Accessibility at Google. We'll also be hearing from Google tonight, so this is really exciting. This is like a big family reunion for me to have so many wonderful people that I love doing great work, and getting to spotlight them is like the thrill of my lifetime. But I just wanted to say that, when I was running these workshops on self-esteem, what I realized was that everybody was looking for a sense of purpose and to make connection and coming across barriers to access. And so I became really passionate about employment. And then about 3 years in, NYU connection here, Lauren. I was guest lecturing since 2012, so I'm dating myself, with Anita Purr, who was the queen of second-year students, OT students, and I'd been doing this annual lecture. And then at 2015, she said, hey, we're doing this project with AT&T and some of the OTs and PTs. Do you want to be an exemplar? I didn't even know what that was. But I thought it'd be really cool to get to work on some technology together. Little did I know that we would be following AT&T, representing the brand for 3 months, which include, time on NBC and NPR, really just talking about why it was so important to design tech that not only includes people with disabilities, but access for all. So, someone asked, how did you get into tech? I said, I didn't. It really got into me. And it's really places like this, they messaged me on LinkedIn asking if I would join the board. And I said, are you sure? But the reason I had to say yes to everything is that I truly believe that access, it's social, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's technological. There's so many forms of access that we all need in order to connect with each other. So I'm just really excited to share the spotlight and to shine a spotlight on all the great work that these people that we're about to introduce to you are doing. And I think since we just talked about employment, it's a perfect time. Abby, if you're ready. Abby Meyerhoff from the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, NYC at Work program. Please come on up. Cheers. Okay. Just give me a commute second. Thank you. Okay, much. The clicker. Oh, clicker. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Abby Meyerhoff. I'm a white woman, brown curly hair, black jacket, gold coppery pants. I'm the Director of Programs for NYC at Work at the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. Thank you so much to the New York Tech Alliance and Xian and Doug for welcoming us here. It's a real privilege to be here on behalf of MOPD. Show of hands, who knows MOPD, the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities? Okay, awesome. For those of you who don't, MOPD's mission is to ensure that New York City is accessible and inclusive for more than 1 million New Yorkers with disabilities who live and work in our city. We deliver direct services, community engagement, strategic communication, and policymaking at the local, state, national, and international levels for public and private stakeholders. And among the New Yorkers with disabilities, that accounts for about 11% of the population. But only 40% of New Yorkers with disabilities are working and 32% live in poverty. According to a recent report the city issued on the true cost of living, 80.3% of families in New York City that include a person with a disability do not meet the city's true cost of living threshold. That's an assessment of resources necessary for independence from public and private assistance. I apologize for the low note to start us off with. And I think that for us, employment really provides dignity, independence, and an ability to build a life in the city that we all love. And at the same time, there's a significant underrepresentation in tech jobs. There's more than 330,000 tech jobs in New York City, and the median salary is almost double the citywide median of $58,000. We were able to find some information on representation and underrepresentation in tech, with only 24% being women, 20% Black or Latino, and couldn't find the statistics on New Yorkers with disabilities in the tech sector. And so, really demonstrating a significant underrepresentation and a real lack of entry points into the sector. There's really significant barriers to employment, and really finding those inroads is really part of the work that NYC at Work does. So, our solution, NYC at Work, was founded nearly a decade ago as an employment program that recruits, pre-screens, and connects New Yorkers with disabilities to jobs and internships with our partners in the public and private sector. And in that time, we've connected over 800 people to employment. How can you help? Come find me in the back, and either come as a job seeker, as a prospective employer. We really try to address needs of both job seekers and employers alike. For job seekers, NYC at Work is a self-directed, self-guided program that provides in-person, direct, virtual, and in-person services. We have a team of career advisors who provide support in identifying roles that you're a fit for, tailoring your application materials, giving mock interviews, and we provide onboarding and retention support as well. And we work with employers who are really dedicated to exploring new ways to find talent. We work with them to understand their hiring needs and connect them to job-ready candidates. We provide a disability etiquette and awareness training to all of our employer partners as just a baseline of saying, okay, this is the situation, this is the language we recommend, these are some specific disabilities, just so that there's an open opportunity to just explore and understand and create an open dialogue. We work with employers to create tailored recruitments, career exploration opportunities. We provide networking opportunities and pre-screen referrals for open opportunities. We also provide our employer partners with guidance on tax incentives, state-sponsored internships, reasonable accommodation, all of the above. And our technical assistance is really aiming to create a more accessible and inclusive workplace culture. So I hope that you'll come find us and connect with us.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me? Is this on? It looks, hello? I don't think it's on.
Dave, Mike.
Okay, everyone's awake now. Okay, this is wonderful. First of all, Abby, thank you so much. Okay. Abby, thank you so much for that. This is very full circle for me, because one thing I forgot to tell you in my history is that while the first year that I was running this self-esteem program, I actually got to do vocational workshops for the mayor's office for people with disabilities for something called Disability Mentoring Day. And Disability Mentoring Day turned into NYC at Work, which I don't think you mentioned that you have over 200, last I heard, and you can update this number, but I believe you said you had over 200 job seekers that you're working actively with now, and we're hoping to increase that number to give Abby some more work. But we thank you for the amazing work you're doing, and you're sitting right next to each other. So I think it's also really important, I mentioned NYU earlier, to introduce the incredible work that NYU is doing. It's something called the Ability Project. Has had a couple of different names, right? It was Ability Studio at one point. But without further ado, one of my dearest friends, Lauren Race, please come on up.
Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. All right, let's talk student work, shall we? So I'm Lauren Race. I'm adjunct faculty at the NYU Ability Project and also at NYU ITP. I'm also staff accessibility product designer at Netflix, but academia. Oh, yeah, you can mention it. At Netflix, good times. I don't do the content, but I do the platform. So I basically design and evaluate accessible interfaces. And my goal for today is really kind of expand our thinking a little bit to get you thinking about the non-disabled bias that we inject into our interfaces and how multisensory design can kind of be the paved path away from that. All right, cool. NYU Ability Project. It's a research base dedicated to the intersection of disability and technology, but really the most important thing that separates us from a lot of labs is that it is rooted in community engagement with the local community here, disability community in New York City. So we have a design and research lab for students. We have 3D printers, braille labelers, embossers, digital embroidery, all sorts of cool tools for these students to play around with. We also have a classroom, so there's an image on this slide. I gotta advance my slides and these slides. The students presenting their final projects for the multisensory design class, which Sean was one of the final reviewers for. So really the Ability Project, kind of the history of it was, I would say more like problem solution, DIY assistive technologies. So students will partner with local community members and DIY their own assistive technologies, kind of hack around access barriers. So, we had an assistive wrist wearable for driving support. We had some compression garments for lymphedema. We had a cat mat to protect a partner's lap from her cat's claws. We had a relaxation tool for the dentistry school. We've built cribs for disabled goats and created adaptive toothbrushes as well. So a lot of the stuff coming out of the Ability Project was very problem solution. So my class is a little bit different. It's called Multisensory Design. I had kind of seen this gap that I think we could inject a little bit more creative expression into the things that we're creating. So I based the definition for my class on a quote from this book called The Senses, or Design for Beyond Vision. So the authors defined multisensory design as extending the sensory richness of products, environments, and media, and they go on to say that by activating touch, sound, smell, taste, and the wisdom of the body, you can support everyone's opportunity to receive information, explore the world, experience joy, wonder, and social connections. So that was really the motivation for the class. So we had kind of expanded this landscape of these different projects to now this landscape, which is very weird. We have a lot of weird stuff. I'll show you a demo, a 1-minute video in a minute, but we had a cat pillow that purred and smelled like cat shampoo. We had a gestural wearable for a disability-led operatic performance. We had an arcade game that dispensed candy. We had an omakase interface that subverted taste expectations with touch and audio. We had a wristband that controlled a compression vest and an internet-powered back scratcher, which caused a lot of trauma to my final reviewers. But so a lot more like creativity and expression. I have a background in the arts, so this was really important to me. And it was interesting because Georgina Klieg, who's a local member of the disability community here and also an arts patron, she gave me this feedback, which she's like, it's nice not to see student projects where they're trying to fix my disability, and it's more just fun stuff that I can access and play with. So I'm gonna share a 1-minute demo of the cat pillow. We all need this cat pillow. And actually, every time the students share it, someone wants to buy it, and it is not available. So here we go.
Hi everyone, this is Nancy, Sheer and Yitting. Our group is called Porlo. Are you a cat lover? Do you feel stressed? Looking for something comforting? Loving to hear the purring sound from a fluffy cat? But find no time to take care of a real cat? Or allergic to cats? Here is the solution to all of these. Porlo. The combination of a cat and a pillow. Video description. Porlo on a couch. Porlo provides senses from 4 different perspectives: touch, smell, sound, and visual. Video description. The user is holding and patting the Porlo gently with long and soft fur. Porlo gives a gentle feeling with its rounded shape and material, very much like an adorable fluffy creature. Video description. The user is lying on the sofa, holding and sniffing Porlo. Another tempting feature is the scent that Porlo diffuses, the fresh cat shampoo scent. which welcomes users for a deep sniffing, just like what you would do to your beloved cat. With a FSR sensor and a speaker connected to Arduino, Porlo gives a purring sound just like a real cat. While a real cat may not be used as a pillow, Porlo allows you to lie down and sleep with the therapeutic sound. Video description. A cat sitting next to Porlo, sniffing and playing with Porlo. Porlo is a good choice to be used as a replacement when your beloved cat refuses to interact with you at times.
So, yeah. Round of applause for my students who every year like completely shock me and come out of left field, and I'm like, great job, no notes. So really by the end of the day, the key learning from this little demo is that in an ocular-centric world, we need to be incorporating multisensory modalities into our products. Or in other words, our users have senses and we should be designing for those senses so that people can interact in a way that works best for them. So with that, I'll move to Q&A if anyone has questions about the multisensory design and class projects.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can.
Yes. Not only do I need the pillow, but like for version 2.0, there needs to be the feature where it hisses at you because you touched it too much.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Also, kind of judged because I lay on my cat, but that's fine. But no, I don't have like a question per se, but like, where do you see this heading into the future if it keeps going the way it's going now?
It's a great question. Into the future. So this is going to be our 6th year in the fall. I have shrunk the curriculum to be a 7-week design sprint because I found that by giving students 14 weeks, they ended up pivoting mid-semester and starting over. And I was like, let's just keep this concise. So I actually changed the curriculum to be a really kind of quick design sprint to get students out of their own head. And then we have final reviewers come at the end of the class and give feedback then. So I would say the future for the class is really just like adjusting the curriculum to kind of increase the student success. Because I think it can be overwhelming if it's like Parkinson's law, right? You expand the scope of the work and then the work just expands to fill it. So yeah, that's just adjusting the curriculum. That's a great question, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Melissa, and I love the cat pillow as well. Avid cat lover. But I do wonder, do you ever come across situations where by designing for one group, it sort of makes it hard for another, or that that the intersectionality doesn't always play nice? And if you have, like, how have you addressed something like that? If not, that's amazing.
Yeah, so the first part of the curriculum is really having the students understand that concept that like by designing for one user population, you could be harming another, and just be mindful of that. And we do like a little bit of like disability studies background if they haven't had it before, understanding the concept design saviorism, like not trying to fix people, but giving folks options. So I think just really understanding that there are limitations, and then teaching the students there are many different like fabrication ways of, let's say someone's neurodivergent or they have a olfactory sensitivity, then telling the students with feedback during design critique, hey, you might want to consider adding a smell box to this so you can open and close and control the levels of smell. So it's really about like just educating the students on, you're never going to be able to tick all the boxes for one population. A lot of this class is really designing for one, right? It's kind of like a proof of concept class, but then educating on how to personalize the kind of product moving forward. But yeah, it's a great feedback, right? It's like we're aiming for this horizon of inclusive design, and we never quite get there because we just can't design for every single person. But yeah, it's a great question, Melissa. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you so much. So I apologize that this isn't necessarily related to your students' work, but because you focus on multisensory design, how does that go into your approach for design at your staff roles in product design at your companies?
Okay. So fun fact, I have to get legal clearance to talk about my other job, which is why I rarely ever talk about it, because it's so much easier to just talk under NYU. I can say that I bring that type of education to my team, like understanding how that addresses some type of biases that we interact, but yeah, that's probably all I'm allowed to say. Like with a side eye roll. I would say I also do think that my class is, I do get designers, but I get a lot of artists. So my class is more like a creative expression, whereas I feel like at like tech companies traditionally, it's more, generally more geared towards like digital accessibility principles, which are important, but not the focus of my class.
Hi, I'm.
Oh, is there another question?
One last question. I'm Ann Casper. Nice to meet you. And how did you come to the fact to realize you need multisensory? How did that happen for you?
Oh, well, it's funny you should say that, because Chancey is here. About 7 years ago, I was getting my master's degree at NYU, and I was working on my thesis, which was taking circuit diagrams. At the time, we had some circuit descriptions going on, but they were really complex. And so Chancey and I partnered, and we turned circuit diagrams into tactile diagrams, essentially. And I went to Pratt originally. I had a visual design background, and it kind of expanded my own practice. And I realized how ocular-centric these design schools in New York City are. Like, we have the School of Visual Arts, we have Pratt, and all I was taught was visual design, which is a part of a much larger toolkit. And so I think that was the big awakening for me at NYU was, oh, there's all this other paint in the paint palette that I was never taught. And also, I had never been taught tactile design standards. I didn't know that was a thing. So that's work that Chancey and I have been doing on several years. Like, what are design standards for touch? We have so many for sight. So yeah, I think it was just a shift in my mental model of what design could be. And it also made me realize how much more we need to learn as designers to be good at what we do. Yeah, great question.
Yeah. Oh, before you go, I want to just underline two phrases that you use that I definitely want to use. Design saviorism. Like, let's just take that in, because I think there's a lot of well-intended people that don't necessarily realize that they might be doing more harm by not actually listening to the community. So I'm going to steal that from you.
Do you want my definition?
Oh, yeah, what is your
So I have a definition. It's seeking praise while trying to fix something that isn't broken.
Ooh, wow. All right, we're dropping your mic for you.
My ask? Can I make my ask?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you were better, literally.
Okay.
All right, so this is my ask. This is for the Ability Project. So like I said, all the projects that we do have community engagement of some form. So we are looking for partners in the disability community or adjacent to work with the students to offer concept proposals, feedback, mentorship. So if you are interested in volunteering, you can email ability@nyu.edu and get connected to the Ability Project for more information. But we would love to have you. It's such an integral part of the Ability Project and really core to the work that the students are doing.
Amazing.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Amazing. We want more time with you. Okay. Well, I think that's actually a perfect time to call up, since she was already mentioned, the Chancey Fleet from not only New York Public Library, but the Hiskell Library, the Talking Book Library. We've wanted Chancey here at least 3 years in a row, and finally, she was too busy for us the first two. So this was the biggest get we got this year. So Chancey, without further ado, if you can make your way to the stage, we can't wait to hear from you. Great. Yeah. Doug. Yeah. Great.
This one.
Great. Perfect. Awesome. You got it? Do you want to move maybe to the right a little bit more?
Yeah.
Okay, that's here. Oh, perfect. All right. Okay. Chancey Fleet, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm Chancey from the Andrew Haskell Braille and Talking Book Library, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my branch and what we do and provide my contact information. So my contact info is up here at the beginning. I'll put it up at the end. But I do want everybody to be aware of the Andrew Haskell Braille and Talking Book Library because we're so close. We're just here on West 20th Street between 5th Avenue and 6th Avenue. So please come visit us. You can make us your home branch. And my slides are not coming up. My slides aren't coming up at all. 1 second, please.
It's changing.
No, but for me.
Oh,
I've got to troubleshoot it for me for 1 second.
Oh, take your time.
Buy me some time for 1 second.
Okay. We need the whole music. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, I have liftoff.
got it?
Oh my
Yay!
gosh.
We're
That was just invigorating. Okay.
Give beauty wings. Okay.
So, we are the Braille and Talking Book Library, and we are also part of the Library of Congress, so we provide literacy access to folks through all 5 boroughs and Long Island. Plus, we are part of the New York Public Library, so any person can come in and make us your home branch and pick up your holds. So please get to know the Andrew Haskell Braille and Talking Book Library. We'll go to slides 2. I want to tell you that we have a project at the library called the Dimensions Project, where we address what I call image poverty among blind and low vision people. Blind people don't live in a text-only world. We need access to things like maps and diagrams and images, and we've had the means to produce those things for 50 years and counting, but those are usually on the wrong side of an institutional locked door. So you can come to us, book time in our lab, to work with processes like swell form, graphics embossing, thermoform, and 3D modeling. If you want to see what I mean, I have examples back at my table. And everything that we do is free except for the cost of paper and filament, and we will show you how to design with tactile in mind and guide you every step of the way, so please come check us out. Next slide. We also offer tech coaching, and maybe this is where some of our friends in Civic Tech come in. We do 160 hours of one-to-one coaching each month, plus group workshops, everything from screen reader and magnification basics to app accessibility to accessible design practices, and of course, we're talking a lot these days about accessible AI. We have a Braille study group that meets on Saturdays, and we are always looking for people to join us as patrons to learn more about assistive technology, and also to join our learning community as potentially a volunteer if you want to see what it's actually like for patrons to use assistive technology and navigate the digital commons. Getting involved as a volunteer is a great way to start with that. Next slide. I want to let everybody know that I think we're in a Braille renaissance, and the library is part of that. In my hand, we have a free Braille e-reader. It says property of the federal government, and that is a device that we loan out to any eligible patron, and they can get Braille within reach by connecting to any phone or computer or downloading books. It's a 20-cell terminal. I'm using it right now to read my notes now that they finally came up for me. And speaking, text-to-speech is great. Screen readers are great, but think about what it would be like to use only sound to code, learn a language, read out loud, or proofread your work with confidence. Braille really gives you precision and confidence, and we can help boost that by connecting patrons with the equipment and the training. You can help us by spreading the word and by designing experiences that actually work well for Braille. Next slide. Over there at my table, we have a new device called the Monarch. It is a 10-cell Braille display that also does low-res graphics. We have 2,000, and this is not the library, this is the American Printing House for the Blind, but the library knows and supports this product. There are 2,000 units that are in K-12 classrooms and with adults in the workforce, and they are providing textbooks and graphics on one unified platform with refreshable Braille, and I've got a map of the 50 states and a lot of other cool things over there that you can zoom and pan through. And what I want to tell you as designers and developers and educators and allies is that the web of the future is probably going to need to be tactile graphics capable. That's going to be very different from anything we've done on the accessible web before, so now's a great time to start learning about tactile design and designing for that more inclusive Braille and graphics future. Next slide. Just a few things to share outside the library, what I'm working on right now. There's a book, Digital Accessibility Ethics, Digital Inclusion in All Things Tech, edited with Lainey Feingold and Regine Gilbert. That came out last week.
Two legends, I might add.
It's kind of a doorstop. I have it over there on my table. Please come check it out. In my spare time, I do a lot of work with furthering art and graphics in the blind community. You can go check out my project partner Marco's website, blindsvg.com, and read about how we are teaching blind and sighted folks to draw with code. You can talk to me about our upcoming tactile art teach-in, where we teach blind and sighted folks the basics of non-visual drawing, and that's totally lo-fi, low-tech, which is a nice change sometimes. That's coming up in June in Baltimore. And come chat with me at my table about accessible design flows for app design. We just popped our first app up in the App Store last week. It's called Word Bopper, and it's fully accessible, built by blind folks for blind folks. Final slide. Please get in touch with me if you have questions or if you'd like to book an appointment in our graphics lab, or if you need tech coaching or want to become a coaching or design volunteer. I'm at chanceyfleet@nypl.org, and my Mastodon handle is the same thing, chanceyfleet@mas.to. So please reach out and check out the library website, talkingbooks.nypl.org. Thank you.
Great. We're going to take questions for Chancey, but I just wanted to highlight, you said Braille Renaissance, so Brailleissance is happening, and it reminded me of a story, because when I worked on the AT&T Connectability Challenge, our colleague Gus Chalkias told me nobody under the age of 40 uses Braille. And then I had a panel with Chancey, with Sean Laureate, who used to be at Google, and a bunch of other people that we love. And I mentioned this to her, and she's like, "That's not true." So I think it highlights the fact that, there's many different ways to engage, and it's also why it's important to talk to the whole community. And anyway, this is an incredible. I think you've undersold how much work you really do, Chancey, to make the world a more accessible place. And the New York Public Library, and especially high school library, is one of the best sources of accessibility in our entire city. So thank you so much. You don't know how epic this is, but okay. I think we'll let people have I'm sure there's a lot of questions and comments. Bless you, somebody sneezed. I'm going to pass this to you for questions and comments. Okay, great. Anyone? Any volunteers that want to work at the library?
Chancey, great presentation. I hadn't known about you. I'm glad that I do. I'm Jeff Paul. I'm the founder of Zeotag. I'd love to get on your calendar and see if we can help make video more accessible for your clientele. It would be my honor.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I had a question. Maybe this is the obvious question as far as how is AI affecting this Braille renaissance and the natural language processing? Did the coding help?
Oh, it's so complicated right now. She's going to have to peel me off of this podium. So although Braille is not a language, it's almost like an under-resourced language in that there's not enough of it on the internet to reliably train any of these models. And so if you ask these models to create Braille, up until recently, they would almost always hallucinate just scattered dots. Now you sometimes get Braille some of the time, and it might be kind of the right size. There's that going on. At the same time, there's blind folks using description for daily life, personal life, and I can mean incredibly personal parts of life. Think about all the things that you may have wanted to ask yourself as a blind person when you were getting ready this morning, and then imagine that you were asking them all to a model that is owned by Meta or by OpenAI. That's all a little bit complicated. There's AI for web accessibility. On one hand, I'm super excited that I can use targeted prompting to build a working prototype of a website or an app, because I've been locked out of every single what you see is what you get web and app tool for decades, and I've been waiting. I'm not a natural coder, but I can be a designer, and that part's great. On the other hand, AI can be used in less responsible ways to do things like screen people that don't make eye contact, like me, out of the hiring process. So it's just, I can't say it's good, I can't say it's bad or better or worse. It is just a maelstrom of changes coming at us really fast, and all we can do is talk to each other about our experiences and educate each other in a more granular way, and try to get past the sort of big talking points to actual stories about what people are experiencing on the ground.
Wow, thank you.
One last question, or is everybody
Thank you, Chancey.
Thank you. Cheers, Chancey. We appreciate you. Abby, I also realized that we never did Q&A with you, so we'll wait till the community asks if there's some extra time. Think of if you have questions for Abby. You're not off the hook yet, darling. Okay. And
Yes.
okay. I think I'm gonna let Doug actually do some talking now.
Are you?
Thank you. No, I don't.
So I'd like to personally welcome our next summer. Do we have, yes, we do. Ian Cannon of 5F Studios. I met Ian through Jeff many months ago, and I was so impressed with Ian's story and tenacity. I love what he's doing in the media and entertainment space, and more importantly, what he's doing to help people with various abilities to work in this industry. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Ian Cannon, COO of, I keep transposing this, 5F, I will get this right, Studios, which is the next generation film studio built on the belief that great filmmaking is both an art and a system. Welcome, Ian.
Could we turn my mic on? My mic is on. My mic's on. Yeah, my mic's on. Where's the button here? There we go. Can everyone hear me? Yes. Okay. So I'm thankful that the stage was set a little further back so it didn't entice me to crowd surf. But as many of us in the community may know, there are over 60 million Americans with disabilities in this country, many of whom have built online communities on social media, whether they be 100 or 100,000. Now, here's the problem. There is no way to attribute where that community goes and its economic value. And for those of us that are working in the disability employment space, how many of us would like to get paid for aimlessly scrolling TikTok, no matter how many followers we have? Show of hands. Probably everybody in this room. We've created a system through Creator to change that, because we've developed a way to track, through our own proprietary technology, data attribution and data chain. Next slide, please. Now, excuse me. The way our technology works is, if you're running a site with our technology, a small engine, think a really powerful cookie, no app to sign up for it, nothing to download, nothing to really integrate with, just runs in the background, creates a log of every interaction, whether a filmmaker shares a piece of data, a film, a filmmaker bio, anything on our platform, it's all there. And the best part is, you can set it up so that you're the only one that sees the data, and the content controls the rules. You set the content rules. So if you as a filmmaker can set up your own paywall and empower yourself to see who is watching your stuff, and the most beautiful part, for the community, it's private, and the data is followed by the transaction as we move forward. And because every piece has its own identity, you can follow it through a data chain. The rules travel with the content. So if I share it on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, it continues on. Now, what does this mean for the disabled community, you ask? It means that it empowers us to be the Uber of distribution. Every fan becomes a distributor. So every fan becomes its own mini Netflix, if you will. Think a cable box in the 1990s. You just turn it on, and there's your programming. Now, what this means for the disabled employment community is every one of us demonstrates our own economic value based upon the size of the community that we create. And that means that if I share a film with Abby, and Abby shares it with someone else, we all get paid on the value chain that's created.
Wow.
And we can set the parameters of that payment. So in closing, our ask today is $5 million, an intro into those in the film and media space. I'm open to questions.
Questions for Ian or $5 million?
I'll take the second one first. We can get to the questions later.
I've got two, please. Is this on blockchain?
This is on.
Are you allowed to tell us?
This is proprietary. It is on something similar to blockchain. It's basically that in theory.
I heard the word chain.
Yes. It is that in theory.
That's you don't have to go further. It's all right. I can hear your hesitation. You don't have to tell me the secret sauce.
Thank you so much.
I have another question. How do you keep from bad actors? You know, there's a potential of gaming this, potential for companies like production companies to engage those and influence the sharing. How do you prevent that?
The way we prevent that is really think of this as open source, if you will, open source environmental protection and open source security. So the way that we prevent that is it has to be organically grown within the viewer's community, because each piece of data has the attributed key to it, if you will. So we control the keys, and you as the owner can decide how those keys are allocated, if that makes sense to you.
Yes, and I assume then you're looking across multiple behaviors. Then you're going to have to allow the software to access a lot of your behavior. Yes.
You know, we've looked at doing it several ways, but because of our proprietary secret sauce that we cannot quite get into at this moment, it's not going to actually run a lot of your proprietary behaviors. Think data wallet without using the term crypto, right? That's what you need to look at here. And not giving you access to behaviors, but access to patterns and history powered by AI.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I saw him.
Thank you. I guess without giving away your secret sauce, you said it's like a cookie, but it doesn't seem like it is, and it's sort of like crypto, but it's probably not. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this, but what regulations are you beholden to?
We're bundled into a couple of different regulations. Think the best way that I could describe that would be to think passkeys for personal computing in 1997. Think data authentication, just like your fingerprint for your laptop.
I'm going to stand up so you can see me because you can see me back there. So I can see this very useful for, I'm part of the mental health, global mental health civil rights community, and I'm connected to thousands all over the world. And we have films and other things to use. How much would it cost for us to get started with this, approximately? Not $5 million, please.
So, approximately, it's going to cost from beta to conceptual concept about $750,000 all in for us. It's not going to be that big of an expenditure, and because every computer has the capability to run this technology, it's a $2 billion consumer group. Any other questions?
Hi, unfortunately, I don't have $5 million, but if anyone has 10 million, I'll take the other half. But my question is, in terms of your revenue model, can you talk a little bit about, how that's going to work in terms of like how are you actually making revenue, and are you expecting for this to be, sort of, I guess like on-demand paid films versus content that people are consuming on like TikTok?
Great question, but we don't talk about business or revenue
sorry.
models. Boo. But you can talk to Ian afterwards about that. It's a great question. Okay.
Hi, my name is Antonio, and I'm left wondering who's the user really, because if I make a video, I guess it sounds like it's for makers, but if I share it somehow, then who gets it to share it with whom and gets paid how? I guess, like, who's the user?
So with each piece of content, a link is generated, right? And I can take that link and provide it to members of my community. And whether that community is on Facebook, doesn't matter what the social platform is. I'm just using Facebook as an arbitrary name here. And the user is twofold. It is one, the creator, and two, the sharer, and three, the end user, right? So it's a threefold user experience. And the profitability is split between those three makers. So for the disabled community, they're looking for employment, and all they're able to do during their day, despite their capacity, because of lack of access, traditional employment, is to consume media. This gives us the ability to generate revenue through our own individual organic communities that we've created. Right? So does that answer your question?
Now I'm left with one last one, second one. I create it, I get paid for the views. You share it, you get paid for the sharing. And then Jessica watches it on Facebook. She is also an end user. Who gets paid? I mean, does Jessica get paid, or do you or I? Or
Actually, everyone in the chain gets a percentage of revenue, and that percentage is set by the end user or the creator. So we can determine if there are asset limits, such as SSD or SSDI, to make sure that we're not going over our limits and providing us the economic flexibility to slide scale with our economic freedoms.
So Jessica, as a Facebook user, clicked it and can get paid, but does she even know that she can get paid or that she used?
Yes, she will be informed when we're running this technology. Yep, everybody will be informed, and everyone will have a way to do that. Whether that be through crypto or bank transaction or whatever their choice is.
Thank you, Ian. That was incredible. And Doug will introduce our next person, but I did want to say, he mentioned SSDI and SSI. For anyone that doesn't realize, one of the biggest barriers to employment for people with disabilities are these asset limits that are created by Social Security. And so the fact that that actually factors in what people's limits are, I don't think I've ever heard of a product that does that. So bravo to Ian for privatizing this. You know, a lot of times our data doesn't belong to us, so this is a real game changer, and I'm so grateful that we had a minute to learn about what they're doing. Okay, Doug.
Amazing, thanks. Okay, like to next welcome a compadre of mine here at Civic Hall. When James shared with me the product that he and his son Ryan are building together, it was natural to invite them here this evening. So I'm happy to welcome both James Dunn, Head of Business Development here at Civic Hall, and his son Ryan, who have created Rytability. So Rytability empowers people with dyslexia to unlock their full potential through stronger writing, clearer communication, and greater confidence. Welcome, guys. It's a mic right over there. Oh, you got it?
Hello, everyone. When you sit across from your child's teachers and hear the words, "He's falling behind, he's failing basic work," it lands heavy. You search for answers, and when you finally get one, in this case dyslexia, it explains a lot, but it doesn't make it any easier. Now you're navigating IEPs, extra time, classroom aids, and more, and you watch your child start to feel different. Confidence slips, and as a parent, that's the hardest part. But here's what we didn't expect. With the right support and the right mindset, what looks like a limitation can actually become an advantage. Because when you grow up facing a disability, you actually get opportunities to learn things that some people never have a chance to learn at all. You learn how to push through in the face of adversity, how to build confidence when it's not given to you, and how to advocate for yourself. Until suddenly, you're not catching up anymore, you're leading. We're going to show you how we're turning a disability into an ability, and how we're leveling the playing field for anyone with writing challenges. Here's Ryan to give you a live demonstration of our app, Rytability, and show you how it's helping people with dyslexia strengthen their writing and build real confidence.
All right, welcome everybody. This is my app, Rytability. It has 3 AI models incorporated into it locally that all run in unison to enable organic text enhancement, organic speaking with live text transcription, and reading back to you. So right in front of you here, you see this is a sample text that someone with dyslexia, or maybe anyone who doesn't really need to pay attention to writing, would write this, right? You notice that there's incorrect capitalization, incorrect spacing, punctuation, and spelling. There's omission errors. So there's a lot that isn't perfect about this. But with one simple button, I can click Improve, and it fixes it completely live and on demand, and it highlights all the changes it makes. You can even click this button here, and it can explain exactly why it made the specific changes. It's all on device, so you can run this as many times as you want, as often as you want. You can put as much text into it as you want. So it has that feature. And in addition, you can click Read. It'll read it organically.
I really enjoy writing because it lets me share my thoughts even when they don't come out right. Sometimes the letters get mixed up like B and D, or words get swapped around in the sentence. The ideas are there in my head, but the structure isn't always clear, and the punctuation can feel random.
So you see there, it speaks super organically, it can enunciate things, it can talk in third person, like it feels the story and can almost virtually generate your own audiobook for you. So it can do that, and then last but not least, it uses state-of-the-art AI speech to text. So I can go here, I can start speaking. Hello, this is a test of me speaking to see how well this works, and as a test of the transcription abilities. And as you can see, it is incorporating punctuation and getting my tonality of my voice perfect. So I click Done, and it finalizes that, puts it in there, it gets punctuation, gets periods, all that, and then I can improve on top of that, and it makes the perfect thing. And also you see there's a flow, you can click back to your draft, you can keep iterating it, so it supports a full iterative process and a bunch of AI models at your disposal to help anyone write better. And now back to you.
Great, thank you, Ryan. So these issues, you know, the cost of writing friction result in hesitation, wasted time, and of course emotional impact, which in my mind is the most important. So we're solving for those things. What everything Ryan and I just showed you, it takes all this input, and the models are specifically trained to handle punctuation mistakes, transposition mistakes, phonetic spelling, all the issues that will typically come up, and then clear communication comes out. So we take these live thoughts in a very iterative fashion, as Ryan just demonstrated for you, bring it into this intelligent layer, and then clean writing comes out. And Ryan only showed you a few of the features, but these are all the features that are currently in the app. One of the things that we discovered as we were going through this, it's not just good for dyslexia and anyone with writing challenges, but it also works pretty well for things like English as a second language. So there are other applications for this as well. And one of the great things about software is that we can keep iterating. So we're on version 2.1, I think, but it keeps on getting better and better. It's already worlds ahead of 1.0. And these three apps are amazing. We're not suggesting anything less than that, but we do think we're built pretty different than what's available in the marketplace. So just comparing to open-ended AI models like ChatGPT or other grammar apps like Grammarly or even note-taking apps like Granola or Otter, we have some pretty significant differences that we think set us apart. We're completely login free. As Ryan said, everything runs local on device, so it's got a lot of privacy built into the application. It's unlimited use. There's no overages. You don't have to worry about tokens, which is a huge concern with everything AI. And then one of the other things is it's responsible AI. So because it's specifically purpose-built and it's not an open-ended chatbot, it can be used alongside tests or in other educational environments without having to worry about cheating or having it write for you. So our ask is really two things. We're going to have a table in the back. We'd love to have you join our beta program and our wait list. So we'd love to speak to you if this is something you're interested in or you want to improve your own writing or you know anybody with dyslexia. We want to get more people testing this and giving us feedback about how to continue to improve it. And then secondly, we'd love to get into some educational institutions. So if you're at an educational institution or you know of an application like this, again, we're very motivated to just start getting this out there and having people use it and continuing to improve it with feedback. So those are our two asks. And thank you so much for your time and hearing us out. Questions?
Hi, this is Antonio, and not to be scary, but I have three. They're quick.
Great.
The voice sounded like Ryan, and that just screams to me. Can somebody add their own voice to Is that part of the thinking of having my voice added through Eleven Labs? Or?
The model does have the capability that I use, so that could be a feature we can add in the current future. But as it stands now, there's many different voice selections. So right here is all the different voice selections we have. But yeah, you can totally add your own voice, and we'll probably do that in a later update.
Have you tested this with screen reader users and blind people who have dyslexia?
We have not, but I would suppose it would work amazing either way because you can totally have it a workflow without even looking at the screen.
I'm thinking that it tells you why it did something, why it changed. I'll be joining you guys over at the table. I know. Love to have a look.
Definitely.
Have you considered having this as plug into other platforms, implemented into those, or maybe?
Yes, we have, and right now we're focusing on making the core app as good as we possibly can. But once we get the underlying technology perfected, we're going to experiment because it's an Apple-built app, right? So it works on macOS, iPadOS, and iOS. So we're going to create extensions for it to work in your Messages app, your Notes app, and a bunch of other apps.
Hi, I'm Maggie. Thank
Hi,
you is
Maggie.
kind of an understatement. I have a couple questions, but primarily I'm wondering about editing versus voice because I noticed that it corrected to the King's English. What if it's not the voice that you're going for? Are there features that say make those nuances? And secondly, bottom line, who's going to have access to this?
That is a wonderful question, and we did think about that. So you're right, because AI takes some liberties in some things, and you don't want it to get rid of your voice. That's the whole thing we're going for here. So I have a toggle here, low, medium, and high, so you can adjust the intensity of the AI model. So low really keeps your style, just fix the hardcore grammar issues. Medium can actually go a step above that and rewrite sentences a little bit, so it's smoother. And then high does a full rewrite with initiative. So we have that. Yeah.
Just a quick follow-up. So, what if people don't want to correct their grammar? What if they're okay with perfect? I mean, instead of perfectly, that's a version of using your voice to write.
So one of the things the way we built the app, you can't really, the graphics are hard to see here, so it's a little hard with the writing, and we're happy to show you at the table if you're interested. But the way that it works is it's at 2 levels. One is the project level, and the next level is the draft level. And every draft, even after the AI corrects it, you can go in and continue to adjust it. So, and you can continue to iterate on this, infinitely. But you're right. Right now, in this version, we're focused on simplicity. One of the things that we talked about as we were going through this was, giving a whole variety of options and a whole number of different ways to correct it. And as we were showing people and going through it, we focused on just one simple button that corrects it to, as you said, the King's English. But I think, as Ryan was saying, in a future version, there's infinite permutations on this, and we can continue to explore those different permutations. But right now, if it did correct something that you didn't want to correct it, you can just go in there and just easily make the adjustment or edit as you need.
Yeah, and also it has some understanding. Like if you put something in quotes, it will know not to change that. And it's also multilingual, right? So if you are speaking in Spanish or any other language, it will retain that and fix it in that native language.
Wow. Queen had a question.
Of course.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
So sorry.
Oh, go for it.
So this is kind of purely a design question. I noticed in the first part of the demo, the initial was in a sans serif font, and then it spat out an answer in a serif font. I don't have dyslexia myself, but I've heard that serif is very difficult for dyslexic readers to read. I was wondering if there is a reason for the answer coming out in a serif font, or if this implies that it's customizable font-wise.
That is a great question. So how it works is there's an overlay ability. So when you click improve, it has a different font initially because it needs to highlight specific things that it changed. So that's just to make that clear. And then once you go into it, then it goes to the other font. But we are planning to give the ability where you can choose your own font from a list. We're considering Open Dyslexic. That's an open source dyslexic font. But yes, that's it. We are thinking about adding that.
Hello, this is Gabriel. You said you guys were using Macs as the current platform you're using. What's the minimum spec that is usable for your product?
That is an awesome idea. And as you know, AI needs RAM, needs processing ability. So this works on iOS and macOS. So you need, at bare minimum, 6 gigabytes of RAM and an ARM-based chip. So basically, if you have a Mac, the M1, base M1 Mac and above works totally fine. And if you have any iPhone that's at least 6 gigabytes of RAM, it will work fine there too. And that's most devices.
Hello? 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 There it is. My question is, you brought up Apple and iOS. I do have an Apple device, but as someone who heavily uses Android, are you moving to, in the future, have it so that someone who uses Android or Windows can use your program? Because I'm a really huge fan of this, and sometimes when I'm like writing my works, I want to speech to text it, make it easier for myself, and I would love to use this. But if I'm not in the sphere of Apple, I'm losing out, and I don't know, I don't want to lose out, so help me out here.
100%, 100%. And that's part of the thing. It's creating an app with this intricacy and getting all the AI models to work. We're focusing on this platform now, especially because it's more predictable, and Apple devices tend to be a lot higher on the specs, so it can run it smoothly. But once we get this all down, we definitely have plans to go to other platforms.
Thank you for your interest, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
First customer.
Just switch to Apple and then, no, I'm just kidding.
Hey guys, you make a great team, by the way. Really, a really good tandem. I have tons of questions on the business model, but I know Doug will kill me if I ask.
Doug will slap your wrist.
So we're not going to do it. I saw a speech from Gavin Newsom recently, and I didn't know how bad it was for him. He was a very strong dyslexic. And he was saying that not only writing was an issue for him, but as well reading speeches, for example, on a prompter. So reading seems to have been to be an issue for him, in his case. You solved the issue of the writing, correct?
I have, yes.
But what about the issue of the reading and reading a speech or things like that? Is it a true issue in general, and is it something you're trying to address?
Yeah, it is. And like, you know, me, like as a dyslexic person, I absorb stuff a lot better when hearing it, especially when hearing it in a enthusiastic tone. So yeah, no, and that's all part of the other half of the problem, is that it can read stuff, it can basically generate your own audiobook, and yeah, that's also what makes it special.
But if you actually look what's out there in the marketplace, I think for dyslexia, there's actually more things solving for the reading side of things than the writing side. So we saw a little opportunity that there's not as many things in the marketplace, solutions for writing. But to your point, JC, again, you know, we have so many plans. You know, we're trying to figure out how to best optimize and iterate on this. But other platforms is out there. One of the things you're talking about is expanding this, and we were talking. Ryan mentioned a little bit of this, but there are a lot of plugins, obviously, for the browser or for the keyboard or other areas where you can sort of make this more universal across device, not just while you're in the app. So these are all opportunities that are under consideration, and we want to take advantage of. Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
I have a question as to whether this is the first father-son duo that we've had here at Civic Hall do a demo. So we made history today, and so you weren't wrong, JC. They make the best team. Thank you so much. This is epic.
Thank you.
You're going to have a lot of people at your table. Everyone who's presented today has a table, so don't be shy, and great work. Okay, so actually, I'll wait. Are we going to move? Okay, we're moving to the next slide for a moment. Okay, so I have a little backstory about this one. Mobility Mojo, who unfortunately, they're based in Ireland, and this meetup is just way too late. They're in the middle of a conference right now. But I have to tell you, the way that I met them started with inaccessibility. So my iPad died on me about 4 weeks ago, and I could not get it to turn on no matter what I did. Went to Apple. They said, we'll have it. Luckily, this is not supposed to be a plug for Apple Care, but I got a replacement, which ended up showing up about 7-8 days later. And the deal was I was going to, swap these iPads. But the flagship Apple store, when I got there the second time for the second visit to pick up this brand new iPad, there was a giant sign on the elevator that said, which by the way, they didn't warn us before getting there, that it was broken. The plus side was that I ran into the wonderful folks at Mobility Mojo, and we, in our shared frustration, also shared what we do, and it turns out they're doing an incredible, I'll let their video speak for them, but we really wanted to highlight what they're doing for digital architecture and have some way for them to be involved today. Hopefully next year they'll be here in person, but we do have a video that they so kindly shared with us. Stephen, who's one of the founders, is a spinal cord injury survivor.
Whether you want to get a better understanding of your building's accessibility, or you want to create a more accessible and inclusive environment for all your visitors and employees, the Mobility Mojo Accessibility Assessment has you covered. It's straightforward, it's detailed, and it typically takes half a day to complete by walking through your building. Let me show you how it works. You will need just 3 things: a fully charged smartphone or tablet, a measuring tape, and the link to the assessment platform, which you can find in your email. Before beginning, click this link to set up your password. Your username is your email address. These details will then become your login details going forward. Now you're ready to start assessing your building. Open your personal assessment tool link on your smartphone or tablet and log in. This link will open in whatever the default browser is on your device. You will see a screen similar to this where you can select your building to be assessed. Before you start the assessment, you'll be asked to confirm how many floors are in your building. We have structured the assessment to reflect a typical building type layout. However, it can be completed in any order that makes sense to you. The menu icon in the top left can be used to navigate through the assessment tool. To select your preferred language or measurement unit, click Settings from this menu. Choose your option and click OK. If you are assessing multiple locations, this is where you'll be able to switch between them, like this.
So that's a little preview of what they do, and they just got word that Accenture is using them in all, I think it's 650 locations. So anyway, there are perks to inaccessibility, which is the bonding factor, and so I'm very grateful that Apple's elevator was down so that we, in our shared frustration, could also make something good out of this. And 2 weeks later, here they are. So hopefully they'll be in person to answer your questions. So we're going to skip the Q&A this year, but come back next year and meet these lovely Irish folks in person. And please go to mobilitymojo.com, and the contact for that is John O'Toole. Okay, so we have his information right here for you. So hopefully you can continue the conversation with them, via the interwebs. Okay. All right. Next. All right. And the grand finale, here we have the great Sasha Blair Goldenson, award-winning Sasha Blair Goldenson, who I met actually through transportation advocacy. Because anyone who knows that's working on accessibility, it's not just tech, there's so many other aspects. And I think Sasha's really going to speak to his 20-year career at, hopefully not in the 4 minutes, we're going to cover as much as we can of that. His incredible groundbreaking work with Google Maps and a little something called Street Reader AI. Sasha Blair Goldenson, everybody. Who by the way, took time out of his kid's baseball game to be here. So let's definitely give him a big round of applause. Woo!
All right.
All right.
I never had walk-up music before, roll-up music, but yeah.
Get used to it.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Doug, for having me. Yes, I'm Sasha Blair Goldenson. I'm a white man seated in a wheelchair, brown glasses, receding hair, and Hunter Hawks sweatshirt. This is my son's team. Go Hawks. So I'll find out when I get home what happened at the end of the game. It wasn't going so well when I left, but fingers crossed. Okay, but so I'm here today to talk about what we've been doing at Google Maps in the last more or less decade. Our goal has been next slide, or maybe let's remind ourselves. Yes, right. So Google's mission statement: organize the world's information and make it universally useful and accessible. The Maps gloss on that was help people everywhere explore and navigate the world. But our team, our group, has been Maps for Everyone. So to make sure that Maps is as useful for people with disabilities as anyone else. So when we first started this work, I could look up the subway directions, but were the stations accessible? Maybe, who knows? And I could find out what was on the menu at the restaurant. Could I get in the door? Could I go to the bathroom? Yeah, we should probably work on that. And I'm not sure who talked about it before, but why was that not the case? It was never that anyone working there at the time said, well, let's not make this work for disabled people. Let's make this only for non-disabled people, but we didn't have representation. And we still don't have nearly enough. So I'm really hoping we can talk with Abby and others about how to do better there. But what are we doing for now? So next slide, please. And so this is about my careers at Google. So this is one. I've actually had 2 careers at Google, one before my accident and the other after. I'm Sasha. I work at Google Maps on accessibility and disability inclusion. A really humbling realization I had after my accident was how many people are excluded every day. And once you're on that side of it, you think, how could I not have known? We're all going to have a disability at some point. It can happen and does happen to people every day. Maps is not something that we built for only non-disabled people. We want it to work for everyone.
176 feet to your next turn.
The reason that you couldn't do something isn't because of the disability, it's that there was some way that the world has been built or that Maps has been built. That's a problem that we can fix. It's not going to make it easy to climb Mount Everest, but to find a wheelchair-accessible bar near a dim sum place in Chinatown, that we can do. It's just common sense to make things accessible to all. There we go. So, what are the things that we built that work on Maps everywhere, all over the world now? Well, so there's more than 1 billion people with disabilities, as we know, and our family and friends want to travel with us with confidence. Making Maps work for everyone means making the know before you go part, so it's just something you see on Maps, just like the address, just like the picture of the outside. Is it accessible? And we now have that at more than 50 million places worldwide, all over the world. And what does that mean? That means that well over half the places that we show on Google Maps, we have confirmed information about whether it's accessible or not. So both the yeses and the nos, so you know before you get there. Next slide, please. So those features are, so hands-free navigation. So that's can also be eyes-free navigation. So you actually heard in that clip that you can turn on something, and we'll see in a second how you turn it on, which means when you're in walking mode navigation, it reads the directions out loud and tells you where the next turn is. So for me, it obviously wouldn't work well for me to hold the phone up while I'm walking, and neither should you, even if you are a sighted person not in a wheelchair, so you don't trip and fall. So also to find stair-free routes, and also to find accessible places. Next slide. So, right, scenario. You're carrying a big package to a post office. How do you do just what I was saying? Navigate hands-free. You go into your settings, and this GIF here shows you. You turn on the detailed voice guidance switch, and it stays on. And that, from then on, when you're doing walking navigation, it speaks it out loud. Okay, next slide. You're taking your child in a stroller across town, and you need a stair-free route. So you get the walking directions, and you do the option, and it shows in this GIF here on the screen how you click it, and it will give you a stair-free route. And that's how that works. Next slide. You're planning a party, and you want everyone to feel welcome. So you look up a place, and to make it more visible, there's another. Yes, so you see on this, you see here it's wheelchair accessible entrance, wheelchair accessible restroom, wheelchair accessible seating, wheelchair accessible parking. I have them memorized, I don't even need to look. Okay, okay, next slide. how do we keep this up to date? Well, it's human-led, so we have, all of us can every day, anytime we go to a place, say, yes, it was accessible, no, it wasn't, or write a review that explains it. And all around the world, we have local guides who are people who are like super prolific and generous reviewers, and they're, reach level 5,000 or whatever it is. But altogether, they've submitted 1 billion updates to maps, and that's how we get that 50 million places. Between that and the merchants who are part of the, own my business on Google Maps thing and tell us this stuff. But we also then assist it with AI, so we run machine learning over it because the votes don't always agree and things go up and down all the time. And to keep it up to date, that's what we're doing. And we also have image classifiers that look at street view images, and yes. Okay, next slide. Okay. All right, this is the fun part. So what's next? So can we show this? So Street Reader AI is a new labs thing. So it's not totally ready for prime time yet, but it is on the blog. And if we click on that video,
What's in front of me?
You are on Westminster Bridge facing west. In front of you are the Houses of Parliament.
About how far away is Big Ben?
Big Ben is about 81 meters ahead of you.
Can you turn me towards the river?
You have been turned 90 degrees to the right.
What do you see from this view?
Now facing north, you see the River Thames, the London Eye, and some buildings.
Make it full screen. Well, anyway, that's in a very small window. It's not your fault. But you could hear what it does is it takes street view images and makes them visually accessible, so it describes them audibly. And that's, so anyway, as I said, it's in labs for now, but we are working hard to get it out there. And finally, saving the best for last, is the Accessibility Discovery Center. We opened the first one at Google. Yes, the Accessibility Discovery Center. The first one was in the London office in 2022. There are now 5 in the Europe, Middle East, Africa offices. And we're opening the first one in New York coming soon.
Yeah.
This fall. We're building it out right now. And I'm really looking forward to welcoming as many people as possible there. And watch this space. Sean and the people on this list will be hearing more about how to come in there, see the space, and hear about what we're doing. So more to come there. Great. And with that, I'm gonna wrap.
Hi, this is Antonio, and a little bit of, I guess, a design question. Might seem a little nitpicky, but your demo said, turn me towards Big Ben, show me where Big Ben is. You have been turned 90 degrees to the right. Who turned them 90 degrees to the right?
Great question, Antonio, and I didn't make the video, but I'm guessing.
Might bring that up.
That that's part of the control. But as I said, it's a labs feature, and it's definitely not ready for prime time. So good question.
Is that how it works? If I did a demo outside with it, would it talk like? Sorry about that. If I use the tool, if it's available, will it talk to me like that? Like if I do a demo myself, or because it might be the video demo, or it might be the tool that needs to not say that.
Really good question, and I just have to be frank that I don't know the answers to that. But what I will say is there is a blog post about it online that gives a lot more detail. So I would suggest looking at that. And I know the main idea of what it does is uses Gemini AI to describe what's being shown in a street reader image. So as you click on places on the map, and it brings up a street reader image of, say, the bridge in that case across the Thames where Big Ben is visible in the background. And as you rotate it, it uses Gemini to describe what's being shown. So that video clip was pretty brief. So more to come there, I would say.
I guess it's Gemini's fault then. I'm not saying that you're putting it on Gemini, but if Gemini does talk like that, I would chase it down that way if it were me.
Fair enough. Yes. Good questions. Thank you, Antonio.
Hi, this is Melissa again.
I don't know if you're familiar with Voice Vista and similar apps. I'm wondering, for those who don't know, it's an app that will describe things by you as you're passing by. I have to confess I'm an Apple Maps user, so maybe this something exists, but do you see this like sort of description of places and things around you as you're walking? Like, do you see that as a part of this project, maybe without even having to ask it and talk to yourself down the street? Or do you think that would work better as a separate app?
Again, Melissa, excellent question. And my hesitancy is I've only read the blog post and I've only talked to the people who built it, so it's really not a product yet. But really good question, and I have heard of that app, and I have a couple of blind and low vision people on my team, and have told me about some of those apps. So I would so much rather them answer it and give a more thoughtful answer. So can we please put a pin in that and say, come to the center and talk to Cindy and Sage and wonderful people on my team who think about this all day and use these things all day.
Yeah, and I just want to say in defense of Sasha, he tried to get someone from the Street Reader AI team to be able to answer questions and but Sasha did us a solid by replacing, his team is very busy and no one was able to come. So Sasha is definitely, definitely a wonderful welcome substitute. And there is only one Sasha Blair Goldenson. So I love that you're so honest, and these things are in development, so I think hopefully we can be patient and see the fullness of the center develop and Street Reader AI. It's just exciting to know that these things are coming down the pike. Thank you so much, Sasha.
Sasha, I have one question. How can everybody stay up to date on the opening of the center?
Yes. I would say stay on the New York Tech Alliance mailing list.
Ooh, nice.
How about that?
We love that answer. We love that answer.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
Great.
Thank you, Sasha.
I can tell you that the are we allowed to say that it will be at the Google offices nearby? So it's not far from here, and I got a little peek at the space, and it's beautiful. So
right across town. My great colleagues Nav and Sarah are here. Thank you for coming, and you can ask us more about it at our table.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Sasha. All right, big round of applause for everybody. You guys are amazing. Ian. So we're running a little long, but this is the part of the evening where we'd like to invite any of you who would like to come up and put your own ask out there to the community. We'll devote maybe 6 or 7 minutes to that, and if you'd like to queue up over here on the side.
What side? May I ask a quick question, a 10-second question? It's quicker than this one.
Okay.
Free membership to those who are here. How do we find out about that? And after that period is over, what is the period? What does the membership cost? Maybe we line up somewhere, but I just didn't hear much about that.
James Dunn in the back is going to answer all of your questions about that. And James, excellent. You can see James right afterwards, okay? But anyone who would like to put an ask, come on up. And do you have a project you want to share? Do you need help with something? Are you raising capital? Do you need job opportunity? Do we have any takers? Wow.
And while you're lining
up.
Oh,
come on up. Come on,
is
okay.
this an okay time for me to kind of I just want to thank this community. I want to thank the New York Tech Alliance and Civic Hall. Yes, I'm board chair, but honestly, my job is easy compared to what everyone boots on the ground does here. So I want to thank everyone for wanting to do this and doing this so well. But also, I think for me, one of the things that I learned through AT&T Connectability Challenge and so many other projects like this is that it takes the best innovation is collaborative innovation. And so we need everyone in this audience, everyone that watches online, just as much as we needed the presenters here, because we are so much better together. There's so many instances when we were judging these technology competitions where people that were asked for their needs were designed for even better than they could think of. And we are so much better when we're not designing in a vacuum. So it is moments like these and conversations that happen after. So stay this hour, let's make more things happen so that we have even more presenters next year. But I just wanted to thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for asking great questions and pushing back even. It's through challenging that we become better, that we change, that we evolve, and that technology becomes truly accessible for all. So that was way longer than I expected. Doug is
Well
being very
said,
patient
Jeff.
with
Thank
me.
you.
But okay.
Come on up.
Now to the community.
I'm fired.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yu Hua, and I want to thank this great opportunity and this great meetup for all this meaningful content and everybody sharing. But I just want to briefly mention I am a early stage accessibility specialist, and I am looking for a new opportunity. My background is in digital accessibility and also UX design. Recently, I've worked in Verizon's accessibility team, and I graduated from the New York University. I also worked in NYU Disability project when I was a student there. So I'd love to chat with anyone who potentially have something open at their organization or they know something of. Thank you guys so much for the time.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Leonardo, and I'm representing Rollview. Rollview helps people turn their skills into job opportunities, even when their resume does not fully show what they can do. We are building an AI that helps users explain their abilities, match with better roles, and prepare stronger applications. For people with disabilities, veterans, immigrants, caregivers, or anyone with non-traditional experience, the problem is not often the lack of talent. It is that hiring systems do not understand them. Rollview helps translate ability into opportunity. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. If anyone loves accessibility, there is an accessibility meetup in New York. It meets every first Tuesday of the month. If you look up the New York Accessibility Meetup, you will find the information about it.
TBD. Hold on. Working on it. Okay. Great. Do you have any phone? Yeah. It'll be easier than going.
Hey guys, it's great to be here. My name is Sarah. I am an ambassador for the Abilities Expo and also an employee as well for them. I do social media for companies within the disability community. So if anyone is looking for social media assistance, I can, help monitor. I can help monitor. Okay. Yeah, I can help monitor social media, create postings, and just help in that way. I have a unique perspective, I would think, to what kind of content is being looked for. So.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, And welcome, Avi. We'll close out with you.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Avi. I live in New Jersey, and this was a great meeting. So thank you so much. I am creating a channel for placement, TV channel, 24 hours, like CNN, only dedicated to jobs. We call it CJN to make it sound like CNN. But what we have done is created a format like Bloomberg, where there will be TV shows, different types of TV shows. Think of it like a Shark Tank for placement as one of the shows. And the real interesting part is, while the TV show is happening, we will have, instead of stock market ticker symbols, we'll have QR codes for the employers' interview rooms. And now, because of this today's meeting, I'm going to create a show for people with disabilities. And my ask is, guidance, any help, anything. I'm a techie. Media is not my space. Social media is not my space. But we would need all the guidance we can get. So thank you.
And now let's party? Is that where we're at?
Yes, that does conclude tonight's demo segment. Let's see. So please know that our next meetup is on Monday, June 1, during Tech Week. We'll be partnering with New York Robotics and focused on, I guess I should put on my glasses, right? Words. The tools for powering robotics and embodied AI. For this meetup happening during Tech Week, we'll be partnering with New York Robotics. Registration will open soon, and we hope to see you there. Okay? That's it. The bar and the food are back open. Eat, drink, and network, and see you next time.
Okay,
Thanks,
now
everybody.
Let's party. Woo! Thank you, everybody, for being here.